What the hex is you guys talking about?
Good morning, you guys. When Bob's.
Okay, I know the word maxi kind of rough, right? But a lot of us are kind of like hex maxis, right? Listen, I could be tolerant, man. You guys do whatever you want to do, right? I'm like, everything I learned from Richard Hart, right, about crypto worked. And every time I don't follow that, it fails, right? So, and then but I keep doing it, right? So, because I got to fail, I got to have some sort of experiment like that, you know?
Let's just repeat after me and let's just say, Richard Hart was right.
I'm going up and to the right. In the land of digital dreams where crypto reigns supreme, Richard Hart stands tall, fearless and true against the darkness that threatens to undo. With his heart of gold and a mind of steel, he rides into battle with fiery zeal against the darkness that threatens to undo.
Do you think that all the gold is in Fort Knox?
Do I think all the gold is in Fort Knox?
Yes.
Are you a fucking conspiracy theorist?
Yes. Yes.
What are you doing?
The biggest winner, of course, was Hex, and we want to know, well, what the heck?
What the heck? What the heck's happening?
What the heck?
What the heck was that intro?
Is this always the intro?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like since we started on Restream.
Since 107 episodes ago.
All right. Nice.
106. What a great person to have here. On
Wow!
this,
Welcome
amazing
back to the
momentous
show.
day.
It's the return of the CabanaCrypto, the third return. You live on this show, Cabana.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Peter. Finally. Okay.
No.
All right. Yeah, great to be back.
Are you wearing an evening ball gown? Because
I
that's
am.
very nice.
It's going to be a nice night out tonight.
The show. Oh, hello, nice.
I thought it's a wife beater.
It is a wife beater. No, that's a wife Peter.
Yeah, wife Peter.
Well, so
you're in an undisclosed location, Cabana. Where are you hanging at the beach cabana of the Cabanas?
Yeah,
where
I am actually. So,
nice.
It's been a little breezy here. I think pretty much everywhere on the east of the United States, but yeah, it's been something. But tomorrow is supposed to be absolutely beautiful, so looking forward to it.
Okay.
My wife and I had tacos last night, so it's plum breezy here too.
Taco Thursdays.
Peter doesn't understand anything that we say in English, so I'll have to
yes.
translate to Slovak. Peter, den farten.
That's some kind of German.
I don't know Slovak, man. I'm sorry.
Well,
let me say
adjacent.
hi to the chat real quick before we start the show. We got a
The chat.
Wookiee on the chain. We got a Wookiee on the chain. Where's my sound? Got the Wookiee noise. He's first in the chat.
Again.
And again, another Wookiee with his alter ego. Okay, he's trolling right now.
Oh, wait,
Hexander.
hold on. While we're on
Yes.
Wookiees, Cabana.
Yes.
Kathleen Kennedy will retire at the end of her contract this year.
Should be now, but yes, we'll take what we can get now, right? So it is what it is. I mean, she's already ruined or had her hand in ruining so much of the Star Wars franchise. It's going to take a while to come back.
Okay.
What?
Well, we could take remnants of Mandalorian and turn them around, maybe. And
Yeah.
Andor could be the new the next hope that we have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well played.
Thank you.
I'd be good with either of those two. I mean, it doesn't, I guess, just take out certain parts that were just so stupid. Obviously, you forget the show that should not be named ever, The Acolyte. That should just be burned from canon forever. So that just absolutely expelled. But
Is there another movie in the making? Do you guys know?
There's always a movie in the making. There's like
there are a
50
few,
of them.
I guess.
But wasn't there
Mandalorian and
the Han
Grogu is
Solo
next.
thing? That was the last one, right? Like bigger motion pictures. The Han Solo.
Yeah.
Well, that was
Solo.
her first failure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when they should have said, "Hey, this is a little bit bad. Let's 86 this producer over here that did this."
And it continued to get worse.
It started there. What?
Well, I'm
No
sorry to
way.
disappoint, but I'm a Trekkie anyway. So
Good luck with that. That's where Kathleen Kennedy's going next.
we have
Yes.
the Star Trek The Lower Decks episode currently.
That is a funny show. That
It
is a
is
very,
very funny.
well done, funny show.
I don't know where to put that in the whole Star Trek universe, but it's funny.
Just on the top. So I would tell people,
Yeah.
you want an intro to Star Trek? Just watch Lower Decks.
Just
That's
watch
all
that
you
one.
need.
All right, we got Hex on air here. The Syndicate Capo for me, a sex on the beach. Hexander, you've had 5 years to learn how to perfect start on time. Yes, someone's paying attention. Well, it's not 5 years. Well, it is. It's 4.5.
If you want a perfect start, you start streaming. Be the change
We
you
don't
want
work
to
for
see
you.
in
We
the
don't
world.
work for you.
Okay? Stop bitching.
If you want to see good things happen.
Thought experiment. Go fuck yourself.
Nah, we appreciate Hexander.
we know he's jesting, of
Always
course. This is not, yeah, we love Hexander.
True Blue in the house. DeFi Down Under with the happy hour. That's another happy hour, Cabana. The DeFi
Yes.
Down Under crew.
I actually tune in to that some late nights sometimes. So yeah,
That's right.
good stuff. Happy hours all across the globe, both hemispheres. It's good.
Across the globe. So we got 50 people watching already. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This ecosystem, it feels to me like a Trump presidency. Like every day there is something else. Like it never stops at the moment. Like we had the lawsuit, then we go to Uniswap, then Richard comes out, oh, centralized exchange good. You know, so
It just
It's
time.
the best.
it's time now. Go. So it's all pivoting left, right, and center. Crazy. Cabana, where have you been when that's like a 9/11 question. Where have you been when 9/11 happened? Where have you been when the news broke?
Where were you
The
when?
case
I
was actually dismissed.
Yeah, I
It
was
was-
actually.
It wasn't dismissed. We had won.
Yes, we won.
Fuck you for saying that. You are
The judge threw it out.
You are now
Peter,
officially
it was
an
dismissed,
enemy
it
of
wasn't
the Hex
dropped.
State. You will be executed, DJ, after the show.
It was Peter. It wasn't. It was dismissed. It was not dropped. And if in 20 days, or no, sorry,
Sorry,
if in
I
17
got
days.
confused. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's
recall the
okay.
15.
confusion.
English is hard. I know.
15.
If
15.
15 more days, if there is no recombination of this fictitious mess of a fucking argument, and then that gets in to say, whoa, we got another one. Richard's ugly too. No, of course we know he's going to be
And
found
fat.
guilty of that, but the thing is, then it's done, and then I believe, Cabana, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it does have it smacks of with prejudice as well. Case is fucking shut, and they can't get back in. What do you think?
That is the best of my understanding as well. So the only outstanding item would be the red notice stuff, and that's more of like personal matter, like a hefty fine maybe could be paid. I don't know. I doubt that he would ever do such a thing. And that's all that is left really. So I know everybody's been like, oh, when stream, Richard, when stream, and it's just like it's exhausting to read, and it has been, but especially as the case got closer to dismissal in recent weeks. And then, of course, after the dismissal, oh, well, he should stream now. I was like, well, we discussed it on, I guess, happy hour. It's just like, Big K said it best. He's like, I'll, paraphrase what he said. You only get a second chance. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression, basically. So in that context, you don't get a second chance at your one and only comeback. So he better do it right. And I think if he does do it, he's planning it out. He knows how it's going to go. He knows the timing of it. Perhaps it's after the red notice stuff. I would certainly hope not, because that would be a severe letdown to many in the community. And I don't want to hear it anymore. So,
But the thing is, the red notice stuff and the alleged he punched someone in the mouth is like not crypto. That's not
correct.
That has nothing to do with crypto.
But
the taxes, we think, this is a non-issue, and the fighting might be as well.
But
so
while it doesn't have anything to do with crypto, would he want to, dox his location?
Oh, no, that not. But the price can fucking go up. That's what.
Can I clear something up once and for all? It was me, okay? He punched me in the mouth because I said, because I visited him in freaking Finland, and I said, "Hey, Richard, when stream?" I just
are you dropping charges on this show?
I am dropping all charges.
There we go.
He
knocking out all.
He minorly kind of disheveled my makeup with his fist, and maybe I got a little bit of a bruise. It was nothing. I didn't mean to call the cops. It was a joke, actually.
But you look better after.
I did look better after. That's why I dropped the charges, Peter. He improved my physique. In fact, he was trying to help.
Well, let me just say that you look absolutely wonderful for being a teenager. So.
Well, I'm only 18 and a half years old.
Is this the joke off already?
Sorry.
You still, for an altar cocker like me and DJ, you look great, Cabana, with the shaven punum, and you're all ready for summer, even though it's February. That's really good. I wish you could teach Toby the art of using a fucking razor.
Yes.
Yeah,
he has issues.
Major issues. However, Tommy loves his mustache though, so maybe he'll have to keep it now.
Yes, there he is. So.
But you were the first to, so kudos to that. You were the first to schedule Nuclear Herbs for an interview right after the news broke. I think he was on your show first, like the emergency happy hour.
Yeah, so I just got like a notification on my phone from one of the 85,000 Telegram rooms that I'm in, and I was like, "What?" And then I, of course, went to verify it multiple places.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
as you do.
As soon as I did, I was just feeling good anyway. Just walking back from the pool, and messaged Big K, texted him, "Hey man, you want to do this? Yeah, let's go." And I'm like, "Okay, hold on, let me see if I can get a guest." And rang up Herbs, and we got it going, and it was cool. It was just like I knew Coffee had like picked up streaming, so he did a solo stream, and I was like, all right, well, if there's any case for emergency happy hour, this is it. So let's do it. And it was a Friday, right around that time.
Yeah.
So it was, the mood was right anyway.
Yeah, it was very cool. Like I was live when it happened, and I happened to
I saw the clip.
On the corner of my eye. I saw a tweet from Hex Scout, tweeting about the dismissal. I was like, oh shit, because I was still going. And then of course we all went over to Crypto Coffee. As you said, the pump it ups.
Yeah,
he had the pump it up stream with the techno music, and then
that was cool.
Then you guys came on. But from your conversation with Nuclear Herbs, what would you say to the haters that are, of course, out there still regarding this topic on the Twitters that say, Hex is still a scam, and the judge didn't rule on the crypto stuff. It was dismissed on a technicality. What do you say besides shut the fuck up to these kind of people?
It's Paul Sachs, by the way. There, that's funny.
You stole my line. No. I don't know. I mean, this time, like, there have been at least, not the fairest of coverage on news sites. Like, they'll mention the headline, but then they'll get the story wrong. Yeah. People will tweet about it, like good, influencer accounts still technically get the story wrong. Like, they don't describe how Richard actually won the case. So at this point, like, if you're still hating on the guy, like you can't be saved in a sense.
It's incredible.
Like, for some people, who don't believe perhaps in God, they can't be saved. Like nothing can ever be said, proven. Like you could like have Jesus sit down next to you and be like, hey bro, what's going on? Can you say hi to this guy so he knows that you're alive? And they would still do that.
Yeah.
Right. Flat earth, all that stuff. So like he'll always have like those, people who cannot be, touched in that way. But I would just kind of echo kind of what Herbs has been preaching. Is like, hey, the SEC didn't just like drop it. Like the judge ruled on it.
Yes.
Here you can read the ruling and perhaps, include some of the better outside influencer accounts from the Hex ecosystem that have tweeted about it and been like, oh man, Richard Hart was right, and he was actually, got to give my props to Hex, and some of those, worded tweets and posts out there that, from people outside of the community that were like, you know what, you get it and good for you. I think maybe Wendy O was one of them, and I mean, there's a bunch out there.
Yeah.
But I was
Eric Wall.
Eric Wall, yes.
Yeah.
Eric Wall, yeah. Got to give him his flowers for understanding what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And you know what? Did he pull up? So what is it? In pro wrestling, isn't the bad guys called the heel, right?
The heel turn?
Yeah. So do you think that we got a little bit of a righteous type of we're losing our number one hater in our midst, our punching bag, Eric Wall?
In pro wrestling terms, that would be the opposite of a heel turn. That's a face turn. So
face turn. Oh, okay.
Yes,
because he's come to the face. That's right.
The
Yeah.
face
wow.
is the good guy. So yes, turning from heel to face, Eric Wall. I don't know. I want to see further confirmation of it, but he's a known troll too. So
he is.
He could do that and just swerve right back and be like, gotcha. He's still a scammer or whatever, and you all suck.
Still fed.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't take my eye, wouldn't trust him, turn my back on him, but knowing that he's maybe he's wanting to be Richard's bottom again, it's like Richard top, Eric bottom, maybe a little bit of getting back together again, maybe.
Oh, I mean, who wouldn't love to see that? Like that'd be
no, I don't want to see that.
Well, them together, like talking on
together and
like what, the third time,
not
like
together side by side, not vertical and horizontal.
Yeah, I never saw that video, so maybe it's the fourth time, but yes.
I mean, AI can do it.
Okay, but wait, we got a new mandate against revenge porn, Peter, so be careful.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but enough with these guys already. Like, let's not give these haters any more engagement at
Correct.
this
Like
point. I
that,
mean, we
I
won.
tweeted that out, and I was like,
We
don't.
won the case.
Yeah, like if you're going to make an example of somebody, like maybe screenshot what they're saying and be like, ignore this guy. Like I mute him. That's what I would do. But don't like give them the cred of like retweeting or commenting on it, because then it just pushes them up in the algorithm, and then other people from the community see it, and then they jump in and they yell, and then the post gets more exposure, and then it just compounds, and more people see that than what's really going on. So
my question for Herbs would be if the ruling does imply not a security message.
It does.
It does, right?
It's in there, but the key, the whole thing was on jurisdiction, really.
Yeah,
And
but the thing
that's the
we
one
didn't
comment I'd like to make, because how embarrassing is this for the SEC? Like, I really took my time to go through the 32, 35 pages, really read it through. And the thing is, for there to be jurisdiction, like there would have needed to be like an address in the United States, like an actual head office. There would needed to be a website for
HEX
the
headquarters,
for the offering, with like payment processing, American users purchasing with their credit card on an American payment provider. And of course, none of this existed. And even the 10 American investors, I don't know who they are, the 10 Americans, that's not enough. And just having information about HEX on a website which is international, that has nothing to do with selling anything. So there's just no ground whatsoever for any
not even the APR number is right.
Yes. And kudos to Wales Only. He was the first at the time when the news broke that there was the case. He was the first to tweet, "Don't worry about it, no jurisdiction anyway." But I took that at the time as like no jurisdiction because this is crypto, and I always thought the SEC would have to rule on the stock market, or like still crypto, but when it's more like a Coinbase where they have an actual head office with staff in the United States. So it was clear that there was no infrastructure. He was living in Finland. He was doing all this from another country. So isn't that and the SEC in the appeal letter, they said, no, we have perfect jurisdiction here. We served him some papers in the Miami airport. So, but to fail all these points, which are necessary to prove jurisdiction, wouldn't they have known this? That they have absolutely nothing there?
Well, they knew.
But isn't that the so embarrassing and a waste of taxpayers' money?
Oh yeah, but I mean, Elon is uncovering all sorts of waste of taxpayer money. So in terms of crypto, the previous administration, they were so against it that they would just throw anything against the wall to see what sticks.
See what sticks, right?
And that's all it was. And they didn't care about harassing hexkins, pulskins, whatever. Which is another interesting point, because I would guess all that's thrown out because
the subpoenas,
this case is thrown out. So
well, some of our people were burning. If Hexo was burning his subpoena,
the latest ones, yeah.
So I don't know if that's the wisest. I always keep these documents aside, especially.
I would have framed
just
it,
a copy,
yeah, frame it,
yeah, as a souvenir.
But yeah, I just found that incredible that. Like we looked at the complaint and we said, oh yeah, there are things here factual, not in order, but I never even thought about just the basics of jurisdiction. Jurisdiction meant for me that if he's an American citizen, of course they can bring stuff towards him, but in a business case like this with an offering, and there is more that's needed, and I'm pretty sure the SEC must have known. So this is very, very strange. But now here we are. There's another 15 days left for a possible appeal, which we all hope, given the new administration in office, is not going to happen. but
And then
let's
we will
celebrate.
maybe have limit
when it's-
orders on Pulsechain.
Ah,
Maybe.
Richard, if you're watching, when limit orders. CowSwap has freaking limit orders on Ethereum.
Matcha.
Can we fork CowSwap?
hey, we're back on
and call
Match.
it
We're back unbanned by
Cowpulse or
Matcha.
something?
Did you know that? Yeah. That was great. That we got unrestricted from Matcha. Very happy that now we can, at least on the Ethereum side, that's a big deal.
Yep, Matcha Uni.
Seems
I
like-
mean, I used to use Matcha, so
Well, Matcha can route through Uni if it's the better price, so it drags from the best, and that's the beauty of Matcha. I use Matcha just like you did, and now that we're back on the map, on Uniswap and Matcha, hey, HEX is unshackled. Now let's do the rest of let's do the rest of the tokens.
Buy my shitcoin.
Buy my shitcoin.
What is your take, Cabana, on why are we not pumping more? Like we waited for years for this case to be out. Now it's out, and we had a little spike. And as it's the case, is it broader crypto down too that affects us here, or is it Trump? With
yeah, a little bit.
tariffs?
But I mean, we're kind of like right where we're at when the news broke. So people have I still think people have bags that they're willing to unload, and I mean there are accounts out there with tens of millions of hex, and the unfortunate thing is that now we've had 5+ years of
yes.
operation, so
5 years,
think
3
of
months.
how many coins have been doing the inflation thing over that time.
Oh no, the rolling stakes.
So some of those guys have gotten out, which is good, and I think that's probably by design. But there are still some big bags out there, and I don't know whether they're just waiting for another pump to dump it or whatever. But I think the most interesting thing right now is the liquidity situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched that thing go from 40 million in liquidity down to 30 million, down to 12, 11, 10. And last I looked, I think it was this morning or last night, it was like 6 million.
Wow.
Just crazy. So, something's going on in that back end there. And, if you're wanting to sell, then you're not going to get the best price for what you're trying to get rid of because, it's not as liquid. So
because you're not using Matcha.
there you go. You are not providing your own liquidity.
So you think as well that it's all a plan? He shut down the hex yield or reduced the hex yield, so these guys with the rolling stakes are getting less. At the same time, he reduced the liquidity, so when somebody market dumps 20 million now, they have crazy slippage. And the same goes for the yield farming on Inc. It's all, a combination of measures to reduce supply and prime us for the rocket ship.
Yeah, I mean, Ink's a different case just because you have just a few big wallets in there that basically control the supply. So I didn't really care about that one. And when that shot up, I mean, I used to be a huge fan of Ink, but some of these guys have just accumulated so much through farming that everybody's like, oh, well, Ink's going to pump the hardest now. Well, you got people with, I have no idea how many millions of it or hundreds of thousands of it. They're just waiting to dump on you or, use it for other means, whatever. And so I've not nearly as bullish as I was on Ink just because of that reason. Because you can see, some of the wallets or wallet.
Very concentrated supply.
Yes, just like you could with Hex back in the day, but we don't have that major problem anymore. So that has been purged.
It's not really a problem. The lack of buyers is.
Yeah, but who's going to buy millions of dollars of ink from basically one wallet? I don't know. Hex, sure. there's no liquidity, and perhaps over time, as the remaining liquid guys start to get out, it can go higher, and then it can compound upon itself because it sucks when somebody sells down here because the price movement down is exaggerated, but when it goes up and FOMO kicks in, it's going to work in the opposite direction on the way up. So
but why would you buy
up
in a
until
low
now
liquidity
I've had an
situation?
opposite erection.
Oh,
I'm hoping for a traditional erection pretty soon. The type that goes out, not back up into your chest cavity.
that's a pretty strong one if it reaches your chest there.
Those red can. Well, I'm I'm not one to brag, but when I have a reverse erection, it's pretty long up, and I can feel it in the back of my throat.
Jesus.
Oh, thank you for that update.
What?
People are still on the postcard.
Oh, yes,
jokes.
that's good. Please sprout hair where there is none. The desert that is my scalp would
Yeah,
like
what
a
do you
postcard.
think about the postcard situation, Cabana?
I mean, my main thing.
I think it's funny.
Yeah, I've said this for weeks, if not months now. Let's let some of this headline risk settle itself, and probably the biggest one regarding price, has settled itself. That being the SEC, for those who can't fill in the lines, or the blanks, but you still have that red notice thing out there. But what is good is that if someone does get a piece of mail or something like that and searches Hex and then stumbles upon Richard Hart, a lot of the headlines right now in search engines, because of recency bias, is Richard Hart defeats the SEC, Hex defeats the SEC, yada yada yada, and that's what I was worried about initially, because if you would have searched it 2 weeks ago, or less than that, you would have had Richard Hart being sued by the SEC because Hex sucks and all that stuff.
That ugly, we know, yes.
Yeah. So I'm more cool with it now. I'd love to get this red notice crap out of there because that's still lurking in search results. But the big thing is really, the SEC thing, and for him to actually win, we just need to frame that better. And
yes, because Nuclear Herb said that doesn't happen that often. That you actually
that's big ball energy right there.
You actually win against the SEC in a case like that. So that's why it's so amateur that they couldn't get their claim right and get the jurisdiction part, not their ducks in a row. That's really.
But DJ, I think what happened there is that someone told them that this guy had billions before he bought Ethereum, and and then they decided, let's try it. Let's send Michelle and Eric go do some. You two lawyers do some stuff, and they did some stuff, and of course the production quality was bad. So
pretty much.
I like the fact that the Nuclear Herb said he could curtail the frivolous lawsuits from the SEC in one snap of his fingers. That would be that hold them liable for the fees that they make the other side have to spend on attorney's fees and all sorts of other crap, and that they can be sued back or awarded to the other side the fees that they had incurred. That would be great.
Funny.
Then right now they don't. Right now they don't have any liability. Yeah.
Then somebody could DCA into ETH.
but look how much damage this case caused to the chart. And then you don't even have a proper case, but cause all this damage. That's not right. And I'm in Europe. The SEC doesn't even. That's not even a thing.
Shouldn't
for us.
even,
but of course
it shouldn't. But it does.
It affected my bags.
See, so world it's not fair.
At least have a jurisdiction case or something. So I think it's just wild how this went. But of course, let's bygones be bygones. I'm just glad it's it's out the way for now. So
But how can you fight the red notice shit?
yeah, do you think he has lawyers on that in Europe working with the Finnish authorities? Because that's a stain on his Wild West that he likes to have.
I think it limits his. So go ahead.
I was gonna say I would certainly think so. He strikes me as someone who's very, if not overly prepared for many situation. Let's just let the ETH buy slide, but that was one.
We will never let it slide
for this minute, but I would. It would not shock me if he had a legal team looking at that or just monitoring it.
The ETH is down bad. Like that's a new low on. It's a new low on his backs. So
double down.
Maybe if they send some postcards. I mean, Vitalik, if you can hear me,
yes.
send some postcards, man.
Is the Vitalik in the room with us now?
Mike.
And who knows? I mean, the ETH and Bitcoin can't even pump, and they're supposed to have this crypto meeting at the White House tomorrow. And
tomorrow.
It's the news. It's selling right now.
Yeah, it's already sold.
Yeah.
So 92K in Bitcoin's the next hump to get by, and we got right there and then dumped off of it. But just because the markets here are just in panic mode with the tariff stuff, and Bitcoin, whether people like it or not, it follows the NASDAQ and or markets overall. So until those things heal, I can't see Bitcoin getting back over 92K. Although I would say it's performed rather well with the markets going down recently, hanging here just under 90K when I guess it was under 80K within the past week or two. It's pretty big. So
I mean, I read a theory yesterday about, because the S&P 500 is just tanking at the moment, the tech stocks and everything, that there is a date coming up where the national debt for the United States has to be refinanced or something, and that it could be a legitimate strategy by Trump to dump the economy down, then get this refinancing out the way, and then pump it back
if
up.
I
Is
was
that
Trump,
a possibility?
DJ, if I was Trump, I would tank the fucking markets to the ground, buy up, and swing the policy.
And
that would be a best deal ever.
Peter, if I was Trump, I would thank all of my voters for voting me into office.
Yes.
Yeah, if Trump does that, he could be like, "Oh, well, S&P is this much up from the bottom. Could have sold on double. Could have sold on double. Could have sold on
basically, yeah.
I don't want to go down that far to where we could sell on a double right now. So yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was perfect.
That's a long way. If we got cut in half from here, that would be quite rough in the end to a lot of businesses, I think. So
yeah. But also on Bitcoin, 60K is being advertised again. So I really wish we don't. Won't go.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That was I guess the same chartist that works with Tom Lee out of his firm, I believe, and it was I think it was Mark Newton, and it was 64K. I'm not looking for that low, but I could see. I was really hoping that we would touch 74, 75. I think that's the CME gap.
Yeah, there is a gap,
and we got in that gap.
The gap was touched.
Quite get there,
I think,
and that was annoying because I was like, "That's gonna hang there until either it's filled or we get past 92, and then maybe we make another run at 100." So you're
referencing Tom Lee from Fundstrat. Was that it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That guy is the harbinger of the bear. He's a really smart guy, and I met him in Tokyo. Had some talks with him, and that's when I piled in when Bitcoin was 3K.
Nice.
Yeah, because he was very convincing. And
aren't you a Bitcoin millionaire? What the fuck?
Because I only had $3,000 to my name at the time, Peter. Peter. Ixnay on the Uj. Let's move on.
Oh, sorry.
Shout out to Finbear. We need to be unburdened by what has been. Exactly. Speaking of that, Cabana, how is your impression of Trump? You know, the first 4 weeks in office now. Is this what you expected or what you were hoping to see, or are you as surprised as the rest of the world in a good or in a bad way?
I mean, yes and no.
'Cause you've been to his dinner, right? In Mar-a-Lago and
Yeah, I had dinner with the man. No,
exactly.
No, I did do one of those crypto events there, and that was
Fundraiser, yeah.
that was really cool. And it was, that was a whole nother thing to at least know before the election that, that was one of the main events to where people started to understand that he was pretty serious about crypto.
Yeah.
Now as to the whys and all that stuff, who knows? But in terms of like being surprised, no, I mean, he's actually doing everything that he said he was going to do.
That's weird. That's really weird.
Yeah, the market reaction is a little more.
Stop laughing, Papabi. That's really serious because he's destroying the basic promise of a premise of a politician.
Yeah,
you should talk and not do anything.
Politicians do talk, do the minimum, take out the maximum, and he's doing the reverse. He's just like Richard.
Well, he's on the clock too, so he has both houses of Congress, and that's not guaranteed in less than 2 years. So
midterms are gonna.
He is trying to make sure that he can get as much done in the next 2 years as possible. Now, if somehow they pick up seats, even better. But that's why he's moving at like breakneck speed right now to try to get as much as he can done. Plus, I've said this before, his first time in there, he was a complete and total outsider. So he took recommendations and put people in positions that he didn't, necessarily know or have time to properly vet. He got stabbed in the back. This time, I mean, he's
tried to assassinate.
He's hit the ground.
He's
running
had
with his
years
team,
to think about this, and basically, I would say, maybe the last 6 months, like before the election, he was putting together like his to-do list and mapping out everything. If I win, I'm doing this, and I want this person, and pretty much he's gotten all his, cabinet picks, and he's done, 80 or whatever crazy amount of executive orders now. So he's moving as fast as he can. Now, what's happening with the tariffs is that the market's not liking the uncertainty. So
it's all planned.
And then he's gone.
It's Cabana. It's just a
put on some socks. He's ready for the stream. Throwing on some socks.
Easy
Still
with the
cold
socks.
here.
Are you using the sock for cleanup? What's the deal here?
Oh boy.
Yeah, there's a horrible joke there. I'm not gonna
not
start with that anyhow. So what's up, Cabana? Good to see you, bro.
What's
Always
going
a
on,
pleasure.
man?
Yeah, you're looking sun kissed down there in Sunshine State.
very
I'm
relaxed
happy for
there.
that. There's some good friends of mine. I'm not sure what part of Florida you're in, and I'm not sure where they are exactly right now, but I know that they might still be in Florida. But every February they come down and tour Florida. But it's Paleface and Mo is a band and dear friends of mine for decades that snowbird their way down from North Carolina and tour the lovely state of Florida in February. And I'm always telling them, I'm going to come visit in February, and I never end up making it there. But yeah,
this is my least favorite time of year, just because all the snowbirds are here and everything is packed. And right now, like spring breakers and all that. So I'm the opposite. I love the heat. So I will do the 90-degree weather and just jump in the sea.
Right.
When I get too hot, and I love less crowded restaurants and all that stuff in the evenings. So I'm the opposite. I'll be patient with that, but I got some business to take care of over the coming weeks, so that's why I'm here for that. But I was just real quick to wrap up on the point that I was making. The markets hate confusion, and that's what's happening right now with this tariff stuff. So Trump will announce tariffs, whatever country it is, Canada, Mexico, markets will tank. Then he'll send out like Commerce Secretary Lutnick on CNBC or something like that. And then Lutnick will be like, oh, well, we're not going to go all the way with that. We're going to walk some of that back. And then the markets come back. Trump, does more tariffs. Lightning comes out this morning, walks some of it back, and then the markets were like, yeah, we've had about enough of this. That's not good enough. And so
It's like
that's
a roller
where we're at
coaster.
right now with
Yeah.
you know everything down, like NASDAQ and Dow down like 500 points, like S&P 100 points. Like it is a total mess out there, and we're like down around the 200-day, I think, on the S&P. So if we can get a washout here, that would be super. But we also have a jobs number in the morning. Maybe that does it. But things have been just absolutely destroyed, and the AI trade has been wrecked. And you know, I think once that finds footing, then we'll maybe get some footing in crypto. Of course, they have that crypto meeting at the White House tomorrow, but you know that those have been sell into the news events really.
Yeah. I mean, this is the S&P 500 here right now, and we're bang on the 200 MA.
Yep.
You know, so this could be
like it always did. Every
reversal
few
time
months.
here, but it's
Yes.
crazy. I mean, I heard somewhere that he, was mapping out, as you said earlier. Now he's prepared for the second term. That he had like the first 90 days mapped out, and we're gonna hit them with 3 different things every day of these 90 days. So is one time is the plastic straws, then tomorrow is Canada tariffs. Like he's going all over the place, but boom, 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 boom. So that the other side, the Democrats, don't really know what hits them, and that causes this confusion, which is also turmoil for the markets. Yes, but that also allows him to get as much of his agenda.
But
the markets hate it, but I mean, just not the social policies.
And some judges are reversing some of his decisions already. So he's not getting away like with everything, but that seems to be his strategy, to just like really overwhelm not just America but the whole world with the different.
Well, especially with the Doge
every other
stuff,
day.
it's
Yes, wow.
Ready, fire, shoot, or whatever. Ready, fire, aim.
Yeah.
And then go back and clean it up afterwards. So it was like, I think I saw earlier, like CDC, they fired like 100, 200 employees or something like that. And then they all got an email yesterday. It's like, oh, hey, we didn't mean that. Come back to work. So,
But
we didn't
also
mean to fire you guys.
Because measles.
Make use of the media like that too, because he is a showmaster. He knows how to address this and market this stuff to the.
But
to
like
the
we were
public.
saying, the markets absolutely hate it. So,
markets need peace and quiet and stability.
Well, the media
guarantees.
uses that. I mean, especially mainstream media, it seems like they use that for political gain, right? So as long as they can keep things looking more chaotic and disruptive and terrible than they are, then that bolsters their double down position, that the left has taken, which to me is just terribly short-sighted. It's like Pop and I have had this conversation before. It's like I was a Democrat up until Obama, and then when Trump came in the first time around, it's like I finally listened to my dad and realized that was not going to be the way, and started voting Republican. Honestly, there's still part of my heart that bleeds for the left. It's like, why can't it be the party that RFK remembers? It's like, why can't it be the party that's like anti-war, and those kind of things. But it's, it's the situation we're in right now. And unfortunately, hopefully over time, like, with the thing they outed with US aid funding so much propaganda in our own media, maybe with that drag on effect of that funding going away, we will see more, less rhetoric about, just keeping things upsetting. Like, for example, I just saw a thing today and I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, I had to Google it. I'm like, because they got me. It's like, I just woke up and it's like, they got me. And it's like, what? He's going to cut 80,000 jobs from the VA? That sounds terrible. And it's my brain just wasn't fully there yet. And I think to myself, I'm like, wait a minute. It's like, it's Elon. It's about efficiency. So of course the media is focusing on, it's like the VA, it's like, this is terrible, and it's like, and they're pushing that narrative, and then people are getting scared, like, oh man, it's already hard enough at the VA. Well, the VA's better than it's ever been, as far as, friends I know that had been in the military after Trump went in the first time. It's like he really made some broad sweeping good changes. Now they're just tightening the belt like they are with everything else, but like that narrative gets lost because, number one, Elon and Trump don't spend a lot of time explaining it, right? It's like they're doing it. And if you know anybody that's really effective in business, they don't waste a lot of time making sure everybody feels okay about it. Are you okay with this? We're going to do this, and here's why. There's not a lot of hand holding, and it's like, I don't know how well that would go over anyhow. But that's kind of part of the issue that I see. It's kind of like Cabana was saying earlier in the crypto space with the Richard Hart stuff, like, don't feed the trolls. It's the same thing with the media, right? It's like when you see these negative spins and narratives on things, don't get caught up in it. Don't share it out. Don't engage with it. If anything, show a counterpoint, or community note it. That's a great tool to just like.
Hey, Toby, to put a we have to get on with things, but just to put a cap on this whole cutting in the government type of discussion. The one thing, having been in Silicon Valley for decades, I'll tell you this: the way that companies normally broadcast that they're kind of cutting the fat is they have a hiring freeze. That's an easy way to say, we're not going to fire anybody, but we're not going to fill any positions from people that leave. So that alone would have been kind of easing into things. We haven't seen that in the media yet. I wonder if that's not the hello. And let's move on to a wonderful section that we lovingly call
What?
No, that's not what we call it. I have a transition before we get into charts with Toby. Here's a Canadian bear checking on the tariffs just to make sure everything is,
That's right.
Well done.
How about that, huh?
At least somebody in Canada's working.
Is that the border? Is that the border crossing?
That's the border crossing. Shout out to Fast Up. Something is off with this freaking jingle. So where is?
I don't know. Hey, all right, let's get right into it. So we're speed round. Let's see how quick we can knock these out this week.
Yeah, people are concerned about Bitcoin and Ethereum, so that's maybe what we
I don't know if I
cover.
didn't. I thought I caught the whole stream, but I didn't hear Cabana because normally he has some insight on the Bitcoin chart movements, and has been pretty spot on in the times that we've talked about it in the past. It seems like
I touched it.
We touched
on it. But okay, cool. So what I'm seeing here is the same channel that we've had for a long while now. This parallel yellow channel that started out definitively in November. We topped in December. Came back down in January, popped back up in late January around the inauguration, as we expected. Hit the top line of this big white ascending channel, which I'll just zoom out rather a little bit just so you can see. This is the big daddy channel that goes all the way back to like at least 2017 highs. Here's the double top in 21, and here's that white line that's the line of demarcation, right? That's the one we want to get above, bounce back off of for support, and then go and get a new all-time high. And then maybe we settle back down here somewhere around 120K. Coming into the bear next year, and then we'll see some dips probably back into the channel. But ideally, this is the new bottom, right, going forward. So shorter term, if you're looking at this yellow parallel channel, there was a measured move right here when we broke down. What was the news? Something happened or some big washout. I can't think right now. But whatever it was that caused this giant red dildo back a few weeks ago, February 24th, the measured move of this channel would have taken us down to the midline of this big white channel. And that measured move would have taken us down to around 77K. We hit 78. So pretty close. It was a little front run that got some nice wicks up off of that move down. Now we're trying to get back into the channel. So this is a 3-day chart. So we're looking on the 3-day, which ends in 1 day and 3 hours. So we're more than halfway through the 3-day chart here, or 3-day candle rather. And it looks like we're trying to wick back into it. We're getting some resistance on the 10 simple moving average. The 21 exponential moving average is just above that at around 94,000, where we've had a lot of price action. So I would be looking for us to try to get back in that channel sustainably, get above 94, and then start using that as a base to start working our way back up to the top of the channel. As we said for weeks and weeks and weeks, maybe longer than that even, April 21 was the previous Bitcoin first high, right, of the double top. So if we were going to be following that logic and got a breakout in April, then, that'd be fantastic. I don't think anybody would mind that. So that's kind of where you see this little check mark sign. The vertical line is the measured move up of this channel, just like we saw the measured move down that played out. And that does get us above the white channel. So, maybe we get a pop up, come back down, test, and then we go. This diagonal line is actually the height of what would be a flagpole. Like if this is a big bull flag. So just for shits and gigs, it's like I threw that on there to see kind of where that takes us. And that takes us up to around 160K, the full measured move of the bull flag. Now, obviously, I'm looking at the bigger picture, which is the white channel that's been playing out for years and years and years. Measured move on that takes us up to around 190K. So, do we get some over exuberance and, push up to 200, 250K? Do people front run it? And 200's, where everyone is, got their eyes on that, just kind of like we all were predicting, 56 cents is 10,000X on Hex. And then what happened? We sealed our own fate, right? I was shouting into the void, that's not 10,000X. But the prevailing voices were that was the goal. And well, what people do, they set limit orders there to sell it, right? And then that kind of created our top. So I think the same thing could happen here. If people were thinking 200K, 250K, people are going to front run that. There's going to be limit orders there.
Yeah, many of the OG charters on the X are also now, dangling towards the 180K as a potential top.
And it's funny. I mean, like here's there it is. I mean, this chart, I've been doing this chart since 2017 when I first started into crypto. And it's like, it's amazing how well it has played out over and over again. So it's like, if that's the move, the chart's kind of telling us that's the move. It's a matter of how long it takes to get there. And do we do a double top again? Do we run up sometime in April, May, June, and then we do a dump and then we run again in the fall? Or is it somewhere in the middle that we get our top and we get a more typical blow off top like we have in years past with Bitcoin? Last cycle was kind of an anomaly. We'd never had a double top like that before, right? That I'm aware of. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The fractal's basically is playing out oddly, in my opinion. This fractal actually would have been like January, maybe the beginning of that fractal. But when I moved it back a couple months or about a month and a half, then it lines up again, so, you can kind of see that green line, it kind of rolls over. And then, if we're following the fractal, we're going to come back down and touch this $77,000 level again before we go. And it's not really showing a move back up toward that top of the charts until August. So, it could be a situation where, and once again, I get it. It's like fractals are kind of like viewing tarot cards through a crystal ball. It's like, layers and layers of guessing, right? And
moving on.
Whatever, Grandpa. All right. So I'm sorry. Is your stool softener kicking in?
Not yet. Thank God. But hurry up.
Okay. I can slow down real slow. All right. Hex, baby boy, HEX, the firstborn son, Richard Hart's favorite, I think, personally, in his heart of hearts.
What?
And the one that's really been doing better lately, right? And we'll see that when we see the new and improved Hex chart in a moment. So we have a big descending white channel all the way since all-time highs back in September of 2021. Top, bottom, try to climb up, got rejected. This is the big death tweet in March. Yep. And then we just rode the bottom of that line all the way till September. And then we started working our way up. So we've got this nice pattern that's been playing out very nicely. Yellow ascending parallel channel, working our way back to the top of our white chart. The breakout of our white chart, again, if we're speculating that the breakouts in the broader crypto markets and to Cabana's point earlier about, the market's not liking uncertainty, the speculation about what the tariffs are going to do or not do, personally, it seems to me like it should be pretty widely known now that this is a classic Trump negotiation tactic. Ask for the moon. He never expects to get the moon. And it's basically, he wants it to land somewhere below that mark. And it does. So I think that's kind of how that's going to play out. The war in Ukraine, can you get a deal done? The stuff in the Middle East, can you get a deal done? Can you keep the reins on Iran? All these things are worrisome topics that the media loves to keep pushing the fear narrative out there. And that uncertainty affects the broader market, certainly. So if those dominoes start to fall, and then somewhere in our little microcosm, the Interpol thing goes away, boy, Katie, bar the door, right? Because we're waiting on the broader markets to move. We're swimming upstream until they do. So hopefully some of those things will fall in line.
But on
to
EHEX,
that point, then we're looking
here, let me just throw in, because many of the EHEX haters in the community, and God knows I've been sparring with them on the Twitters, they have sold their bags. They're out. They're out the game. And now Uniswap,
congratulations, idiots,
has decided something on the market.
You played yourself.
So it's congratulations, you played yourself. It's like the perfect storm. Low liquidity too now. Many of the big holders are out already. So this could be the perfect storm brewing up for EHEX here.
Well, if you think about volatility, right? It's like, what's one of the things that
financial advice.
Yes. Right, exactly, right. If anybody thinks we're giving financial advice, they lost the plot a long time ago. But yeah, it's like, what dampens volatility? Limit orders, right? Because it's like, how many people are like, damn, I wish I would have bought that dip. Well, in Pulsechain, we didn't have that option. And, with Uniswap going away, Matcha going away, it was very difficult if you wanted to try to do anything on the limit order front, unless you're, messing with V3 liquidity and doing those things, which is, kind of next level. And most people honestly don't mess with that stuff. So it's like limit orders are kind of keep it simple, right? It's like you can set a limit order and be like, hey, and maybe you're a part-time TA guy like me, and you're like, hey, I think, if we dip to this level, there's good support there. I'd like to buy some more there. But I got a life. I can't watch the charts 24/7. I did that. That's how I lost all my fucking hair back in, when I was being a day trader. And, so it's like, I didn't want to wake up to alerts anymore, and limit orders were a great way to like make that more manageable. And it dampens volatility, because it's like, if you've got a bunch of limit orders sitting there where support should be, guess what? It becomes support. Same thing to the upside too. If you get some over exuberance, people can have their sell orders up there. And I can't remember, and maybe we can talk about it in the green room, because I don't want to take up too much time. But I know way back
emphasis on don't take up too much time.
Way back in the day, but don't bump. Way back in the day, when everyone could use Matcha for limit orders, and Richard was the first person I ever heard about Matcha from. He also mentioned some other site where you could see where the limit orders were. I don't remember what that was. I don't remember ever figuring out how to see that. But that also is a great thing to maybe pay attention to, right? If you have a way to see that and maybe teach the broader audience how to see that, then you can see where the sell orders are. And then if you want to front run them, great, or you can see where we're going to get some resistance, because we're going to have to push through those sell orders to go higher. So anyhow, so I think limit orders being on EHEX, there's going to be a drag on effect with all the Pulse chain products. Because we have some wrapped Pulsechain products over on Ethereum already, right? And I saw some tweets about that where people were like, hey, it's like, support these too, Uniswap, Matcha, like make sure that those are available. And then as liquidity thickens up, it's almost like the reverse of what Richard was hoping, like people would come over to Pulsechain and thicken the liquidity in the pairs. It's almost the other way. Like, we're going to send our stuff over there. And then, maybe some people put some liquidity behind it there. And then with limit orders and the way markets auto balance, it'll kind of reduce the volatility on everything, and long term give everything more strength. So long story short, on EHEX, we're right at the midline. We're at 0039. We were talking last week. Where were we last week? We were here. Yeah, we were pretty much this big wick down that I was saying was a bear trap. And then we got the great news about the SEC, and then boom, we started making our move up. Had a big push up, that sold off. We wicked right off the bottom of the yellow channel, and we're working our way back up now. We're soundly above the 55 and 21 EMAs. We're fighting the 100 EMA now and the midline. So we've wicked off the midline around 0046. The top of the channel, of the white channel, if we keep moving up slow but sure, is going to be around 007. And if we can get that push above that, then we're looking at the yellow channel is the breakout next, which oddly coincides with the 200 EMA, which it puts us right around a penny. We get the breakout of the yellow channel. That would be the first leg up. That gets us to about 4 cents. We do the full measured move of the white channel. That gets us up to about 10. And as I've said before, previously we had about a 5-to-1 ratio with HEX and PHEX. So if that holds true or is true at the time, and we got a 10 cent EHEX, 5 times that is 50 cent PHEX combined, there's your all-time high. So
now we're like 3-1. So what is
yeah,
that?
yeah. So we'll get there. We'll get there. That's a secret. That's a little secret bonus round if I can get through the rest of this. Okay. So so going on to the new and improved Hex on Pulsechain. We had our little bull trap here, right? And wicked back up, but and got back into the channel, got above our EMAs, but could not sustain that.
Okay.
It got sold back down, and we've got some big indecision candles, 2 3-day indecision candles in a row. And this little tiny spinning top indecision candle is where we are now. And below the line, but it's not a confirmed. It's not a confirmed break. Excuse me.
It's the rolling stakes.
A word from our representative from Quebec.
Hello?
Nothing. Hello. That's how I feel all the time, Peter. It's all good. So so moving right along.
Peter, what is your question? Speak.
Sorry, Peter, go ahead.
Talk.
Peter, what?
Is my internet good?
Yes.
It's not looking good.
What's your question?
Shout out to Vodafone.
No. I was just saying that it's the rolling stakes, the indecision candles. Just sell pressure from the rolling stakes. I'm telling you, it's the biggest problem.
It could be. It could be. All right, so check this out. So basically, we've got the indecision candles where the top and bottom wicks are similar height, right, and but bigger bodies. Now we're in pretty much like a spinning top type of candle, which is also an indecision candle. It's got this tiny little skinny body, big long leg up, big long leg down, and we're just kind of sitting below where we want to be. Ideally, we want to get back in this channel above 1.2 cents. That would give me a lot more confidence. Then we can start working our way up. That's also around the 200 EMA. The 100 EMA is about 135. Then we get up to the 55 EMA, which is at 1.4, which we've gotten a lot of price action around that level. And then ultimately, we want to try to get above 145, which is the 55 EMA. And then maybe we can start playing out this little Sami-like squiggle that I made. Maybe we work our way up to the midline, come back down, and then we make that run toward April. If, I'm assuming if everything else is going well, it's going to drag this dog up too. And if we get that breakout in April, May, like I'm hoping, then it's showing here the breakout on that's about 30 cents. So what's funny now, and I just now noticed this live, Papa mentioned it, 3-to-1. 3-to-1 ratio. I just showed on the EHEX chart, the measured move's 10 cents. Measured move on this one's 30 cents. 3-to-1 ratio. I don't know, dude. Spooky shit. So, it's the correlation's always exciting. All right, so moving right along, let's go to Pulse, the core coin of the chain. And we had a parallel channel that we were working with for a long time here, this orange parallel channel. Then we started playing around with the idea of it being a triangle. And then, we see here that, okay, this is a channel within the orange channel that's kind of hopefully slowly working our way back up this way. We had our bear trap that we talked about. We're back into that yellow channel at around 0004, which interestingly enough is Pulse and Pulse are now at parity pretty much. So that's an interesting development. So we're right there. We're right at the bottom of that line. So, ideally we can find some support here finally and start curving up. And similar to the last chart we just looked at, we got to work our way through all these EMAs, midline. And the 200 EMA is the real tipping point, in my opinion, which is going to be about quadruple 0.68. And then if we can keep pushing our way up, we're looking, if we get a vertical here over the next month, and then we break out in April, the measured move on that would take us up to about 2.5 times SAC, which is very, very close to the all-time high. If this continues and we break through this orange channel and that proves to be a true pattern that we could rely on. It's hard after you get above all-time high because it's blue sky. You've got no resistances, you got no supports. That's why they call it a blue sky breakout. There's nothing above you. There's not even a cloud, right? So it's blue sky. So if it's a blue sky breakout, then this can give us some indication of where we might go just by the measured move. Measured move of this is taking us up to about 8.5 times SAC. I don't think anybody would complain about that in April, right? Or May or June. If we're expecting that the top is going to be 4 years from our all-time high, which was September of 21. So if we get that high by then, God only knows the exuberance and all the good news and the dominoes falling in the right direction where we could end up. But not a bad target. Moving along to PulseX. PulseX has been one of the stronger charts for a while now. It didn't really play with the bottom of its channel like the others were. It just kind of steadily ground its way up, and that's how it's at parity now with Pulse. well off of its low of its little internal channel here. So we have the orange descending channel. We got the white descending channel, ascending channel within the descending. As we're coming back up, we're actually above and using all of the EMAs as support. We've come down to these and bounced off them multiple times, which is really good. We're wicking back down a little bit now on this daily candle. This is a daily on this chart. It looked like there's some big resistance at around the 4045 area. And then the midline and also the top of this broader orange channel is going to get us to that midline late March, early April around 4055. So if we make that breakout, once again, not to sound like broken record, but if we do that April thing, if we're following the 4-year cycle with Bitcoin and we do get a breakout or a start of a breakout in April, the full measured move of that takes us up to about bing, 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 2.5 times SAC. So, real interesting influence there. So it gets us up there to have two charts that are showing you kind of the same target is very interesting. And to see that they're at parity and that they would be at parity again here with the breakout of the channels that have been playing out. And the channels have been very different, but the end result is similar, right? And then, if we get a breakout of the white channel, then because this one's a little different, that it's breaking the orange channel and then the white, it takes us up a little higher to 2.8 of SAC. And then it's really hard to say like where it could go, right? I mean, there's an argument to be made that you could do an even bigger channel and take in these bottom candles, and then that makes that measured move even bigger. But I think that's a bit of a stretch. Okay, so moving right along to Ink, the clown of the family, the baby boy, everybody's favorite. He makes everyone laugh at Thanksgiving, mugging and playing with his food. Where's the Papa Womp Womp button I asked for? You can use it on me too. But there you go. Thank you. So anyhow, we've got the move off of here. This is a daily on this one as well. It looks like we wicked up through the midline of this parallel ascending channel, had a nice run up to freaking 440, and that was just less than a month ago, 4 weeks ago. We had the big sell off after the good news there, and then we wicked up hard, got up to 367, and then we came down here, and now we're finding support on all of these little squiggles, which are my EMAs, my 200 EMA, my 21 EMA, my 55 EMA, and my 100 EMA. So all, we're right there in that little cluster trying to find support. As we were saying last week, it's like, $2 would be, the low side that I would expect if we really got pushed down. We fell well short of that at 218 and started to work our way back up. So same thing. We're looking at midline as resistance from here, which is about 286 to the $3 mark. If we can get above that midline and start, kind of curving our way up here, continue this move, then, we'd be looking at around $6, $6.40 in late April. And then if we can break out of this channel, this is always a fun one to end on as far as the RH tokens go. Measured move on that.
Don't forget most.
No, we gotta hurry up because Cabana has got an appointment.
We gotta hurry up. So I'm gonna skip Ethereum because Ethereum's
Cabana's got a vasectomy that's planned, so we gotta get him out of here.
Exactly.
So Ethereum is sad.
Got to get to his bingo.
Ethereum is sad, so we're not even gonna bother. I'm not gonna bother with most because we're pressed for time. But what I do want to do real quickly, and like everyone avert your gaze, Papa, that means you. Everyone avert your gaze and don't judge me on my watch list because I watch a little bit of everything. But what I want to look at here is HEX. And then this is the fun one, right? For me, just for speculative purposes. So here's the HEX chart on Deck Screener. And what's cool about this one is you can invert the chart.
All right.
And then you can change the denomination to be in HEX instead of dollars. And then you get this nice little chart of the ratio between HEX and PHEX. So what's been really, really interesting to me is, and back in this region, I'm not going to lie, I was doing a little arbitrage between the two. Basically,
we looked at this before,
and buying and selling and buying, right? So we had this really interesting pattern that was finding its range, right? I mean, it was going anywhere from about a 1.2 to 1 ratio to about a 2.5 to 1 ratio, and it was pretty solid. I mean, all the way from basically when the chain launched until the death tweet in March, and then we got that huge spike up in PHEX and the big dump in HEX, and then that's where we kind of worked our way back from since. So what's been really interesting is as we worked our way back down and we found ourselves in this yellow ascending parallel channel, we found support at the old channel, worked our way back up to the top of the yellow channel, came back down, we're breaking down, and where we found support again, if we extend that white channel out there again, and it's 273 ratio, right? We're a little above that now. We're at 2.93 as the ratio, so nearly 3 to 1. What would be really interesting is if there's a full breakdown of this yellow channel, measured moves, right? Measured move is the height of the pattern. The full measured move on that takes us down to 1 to 1, which would be parity.
Awesome.
Which would be just hilarious to see everyone's reactions to that. And if we were to get that, and obviously EHEX would be running or PHEX would be dumping or a combination of the two, or EHEX would just be running harder. Well, what are people going to do? They're going to see like, oh, wow, EHEX is kicking ass. What else is going on? Oh, Pulsechain. Oh, hey, there's wrapped versions on Ethereum I can trade. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I want to go next level and I want to bridge over and I actually want to come to Pulsechain. So I really think that EHEX could be the shining star that brings attention to everything. So
thank you, Toby.
Well done. Thank you, Toby, for the charts. Last one for you, Cabana, on centralized exchanges. So we had the tweet from Richard Hart, which is another pivoting in strategy. You know, before it was always the sexes are the devils of the ecosystem, and we don't really need them. Now he literally calls on the community to go out and pester the exchanges to see if some of them get us listed. I've seen Maddie tweeting about some support chatter. Coinbase is potentially on the list. What do you think would be the first one to really follow through and possibly list Pulsechain?
We're talking like real exchanges, not like MEXC or anything, right?
No, we're talking like Binance and Kraken.
Okay. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go Kraken. Just because of, I mean, that's a stretch even for me to even contemplate. But to me, their actions in the past have been more open and friendly to perhaps some stuff that consensus would not think that they would have been, i.e. like meme coins and stuff like that. And of course, they've caught flack for some of this stuff, but I do think that this SEC win, literal win, holds some weight. So like we gotta, get out there and, if I do my replies, I try to, at least mention that if I'm thinking of it, or if I have a source, I'll, kind of link to the tweet and be like, hey, look at this. I'm not just shilling here. Like, this actually beat the SEC. This is verified. It's legit. And you're not going to get, in trouble, in quotes.
Yes.
And so maybe, another 15 days goes by and perhaps, some of these places, warm up to it. I don't know. We can hope. But
OKX removes the ban and lists us back because there we had already had the integration, but I think that was not for American users. Kraken, like we need one that's like kind of like Coinbase or Kraken, where American
one of the originals, Kraken, Coinbase, Binance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gemini.
I think Binance might be the sleeper on that one, because it's like, I think a lot of people are not expecting it.
Yeah.
And
I would take it.
CZ is, he's a smart dude, right? And it's like, if he sees now that there's opportunity to make money on this thing and not take on additional risk, why would he not want first mover advantage, right? So I would not be surprised if we saw a pop up on Binance.
Binance. We had a question.
Shout out to Brazology in the chat, by the way. Thank you very much, Mr. Welcome to Pulsechain. We love you. I love
component of EHEX, by the way, the number one EHEX maxi.
Yes.
God bless Briz.
Biz with
fighting the good fight.
We had a question from Checks My Pulse, which didn't go unnoticed here. How high can EXX go with the circulating supply? Some say market cap can't go that high. I think the some are right, because the way this worked last time around, when we had the flippening of the Binance coin, when we're the number 3 crypto all of a sudden, you need crazy circulating supply and a high price, but it's just a vanity metric anyway. So yeah, with the low circulating supply that we currently have, it will be much harder to get in the top 10 of crypto again. So we need a 4x the price of the last all-time high to achieve that. Yeah, so we'll see. The Pulsechain tour is happening at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino in Vegas. I've seen Corey Geary. He's in the chat. I think he's one of the speakers there. Shout out. So that's happening starting today over the next 3 days, closing out with a Pulse tournament, with a golf tournament. A Pulse tournament.
I don't want to go to a Pulse tournament.
How many pulses?
How do you win?
Everyone's a winner.
So work on your pulses, guys. So that's all happening in Vegas.
I'm gonna be the towel boy.
Shut up now. Let's get out of here. Come on.
Cabana, where can people find you? Thank you so much for being with us here today on such short notice. Shill your shit. What's going on with the happy hour?
No, all good. Thank you for the invite, and it actually worked out great. So
Yes.
I enjoy cutting it up with you fellas on here, and yeah, not sure when the next happy hour is. Definitely not this Friday, but usually Fridays at 5 when we do them. We always put them on the socials, so just at CabanaCrypto, and Big K and I will put it out there when we're on again, and that's CabanaCrypto on all socials, actually, Instagram and the Twitch. You'll see me in the DJ Cryptomatic warm-up set pre-game chats.
We do that on Fridays. We're still doing that, Cabana. It's 4 years of that. By
I
now.
know, it's crazy.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah, I always throw it on, or try to remember to throw it on in the green room. People are like, "What is this?" And I think John Wick was in the green room. He's like, "Is this live?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bro. It happens like almost every happy hour." He's like, "This is
like
cool."
the last 4 years. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
Well,
weird.
he doesn't get on that much,
Yeah.
so it was an event to have him on whenever he was on.
That's the thing that got me worried
great.
too. That like last weekend when you guys had the spaces, like we're doing this show. This is like our 3rd year now of What the Hex on Thursdays, and as we just said with Cabana and the pregame set, we're doing this for 4 years almost all the Fridays. But there are still people that are not aware of that. They are not aware of What the Heck. So this is weird sometimes. That's still, or maybe it's proof how big the community has grown, that not everyone knows everything. So there's still new viewers to be
That's
harnessed.
rationalizing it, sure.
Exactly. So appreciate the love. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We got 160 people on the way out. Make sure to smash the likes, follow the channel. Links to Cabana's channel are in the description down below. And we see you guys on the next one. Tro.